Food. We all love food, right? I love food. But here's the real question. How do you eat your food? Some of you, if you're rich and have daddy's credit card, probably roll up to fancy restaurants like food critics. Others live that combini life. You know who you are. And let's not forget about the true champions, the ones who call Uber Eats their personal chef. But hold on, how many of you actually know how to cook real food? And I'm not talking about some Michelin star masterpiece. I mean the basics. Let's be honest here, most of you weebs are probably living off of instant ramen and dino chicken nuggets. I see you. In today's world, it's all about convenience, right? We've become pros at taking the easy way out. And look, I get it. Who has time to cook when you can just hit a button and have food magically appear? But let me drop you a truth bomb. Knowing how to cook is a skill that will take you places. And trust me, after living in Japan, one thing has become crystal clear. Women love a guy who can cook. So as I was getting bored of watching anime and playing games back in 2015, I had a brilliant idea to save money and spice up my life. Why not start making my own bentos for work? And I don't know, maybe cooking dinner at home. Sounds simple enough, right? Yeah, no. Cooking is like the Dark Souls of everyday life. You will fail, and you will fail a lot. I nearly burned my house down 3 times before I realized that, maybe, just maybe, I should take a step back and find some easier recipes. And, I don't know, not put cup noodle in the microwave. Enter the moment when I discovered the latest manga at the time from one of my favorite manga artists, Gigo Amagakure, and his series Sweetness and Lightning. Not only is Sweetness and Lightning one of the most heartwarming mangas you'll ever read, but it's also the reason I found my way back to the kitchen. And now, I actually love cooking. Am I a master chef? Oh, hell no. My gyoza looks like a crime scene, and my pancakes could probably be used as frisbees. But you know what? I'm getting better, and that's what matters, right? So, as I keep leveling up my cooking skills, let's take a detour over to the home ec classroom today. Get ready for a journey through the best cooking anime you forgot about. Grab your knives and aprons. Class is now in session. Okay, so let's talk about this hidden gem of a cooking anime. Sweetness and Lightning was released back in 2016 during the era that I hate the most of anime that was either about us punching gods or getting isekai'd by truck-kun. This little slice of life series quietly waltzed in with its apron and said, hey, what if food was about feeling instead of flexing? It was based on the manga, as mentioned before, by Sensei Amagakure, a man who somehow managed to weaponize wholesomeness. Like, I'm pretty sure if you read this manga out loud, it will cure seasonal depression. The story here follows Kohei Inuzuka, a high school teacher who just lost his wife and is now trying to raise his daughter without feeding her instant regret every night. And his daughter, Sumugi. She is the definition of weaponized cuteness. I'm not saying she could get away with murder, but I am saying the jury would not convict her. Just look at that cute smile. Aww. It melts my cynical heart. Inuzuka-sensei, like many of us, realizes he has the culinary skills of a damp cardboard box. And so begins his journey of, maybe I should try not poisoning my child with pre-packaged sadness. Enter Kotori, one of his students who invites him to cook meals at her family's empty restaurant. She's got her own baggage, sure, and a healthy fear of knives. But together, the 3 of them start making meals that matter. And look, this isn't Food Wars. No one's screaming the molecular breakdown of soy sauce mid-bite. No one is losing their clothes from a good meatball. This is just a soft, grounded, we're doing our best kind of storytelling. Food that tastes like comfort, not competition. It's not flashy, no foodgasms, no exploding clothes. Just real food, real people, and real healing. Which, in today's anime landscape of overpowered protagonists and high-stake fantasies, honestly feels kind of rebellious. The thing I like about Sweetness and Lightning is it is not here to blow your mind with a 5-star cuisine or some over-the-top food orgy. No one bites into an omelet and ascends to the spirit realm. This show doesn't care about Michelin stars. It cares about the moment when you finally cook something halfway decent and someone you love says, and suddenly, you're not feeding someone, you're taking care of them. Each episode builds around a single dish, not complicated, not glamorous, just food with a purpose. Hamburg steak, rice with egg, pork miso soup, meals that you could actually make at home if you're willing to risk dirtying a pan and, maybe your pride. It walks you through the steps like a kind friend holding your hand through your first attempt of being a functioning adult. But the real power here is not just the recipes, it's what they mean. Every meal in Sweetness and Lightning is tied to a memory, a wound, a need, a dad trying to connect with his daughter after losing his wife, a student carrying her own emotional baggage to an empty kitchen, a little girl just missing the taste of her mother's cooking, and suddenly that bowl of rice becomes something sacred. Because food isn't just about fuel, it's about care, it's about presence. It says, I made this for you, I thought about you, you matter. And when you watch Kohei nervously try to cook without screwing it up just to see his daughter smile, you realize this isn't a story about food, it's about healing. It's about showing up even when you don't have the right ingredients, even when the timing's off. It's about making something messy and real and full of heart. So no, Sweetness and Lightning isn't a cooking anime in the usual sense, if you're coming off of Food Wars. It's not flashy, it's not competitive, it's not trying to teach you how to make raw gua with a blowtorch. What it's trying to teach you is that cooking, like life, isn't about perfection. It's about effort, love, and learning to just try anyway. And that's why it sticks with you. As Grandma always says, the most important ingredient in cooking is love. And at its core, Sweetness and Lightning is about rebuilding. It's about trying to put something warm and whole on the table when everything else in your life feels cold and broken. Kohei is grieving. He's exhausted, overwhelmed, doing everything he can just to survive the day and get his daughter to smile. And Tsumugi, she's too young to fully understand loss, but she feels it. There's an ache in her, this quiet confusion where her mother used to be. And somehow, it's through cooking this shared, messy, and sometimes hilariously chaotic act that starts to feel the empty space. And Katori? Well, she's not just a convenient plot device or some love interest. She's a kid dealing with loneliness, fear, and the pressure of growing up without much support. But in this makeshift kitchen around a worn table, the three of them become something more. Not a family in the traditional sense, but a little unit built on care, understanding, and a shared love of home-cooked meals. And if that doesn't relate back to my idea of a found family, I don't know what does. Watching them, you start to realize and remember the times someone cooked for you. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. A parent, a partner, a friend. That one dish that reminded you someone gave a damn. That's what this anime taps into. That's what makes it unforgettable. This show reminds you that healing doesn't come in these big dramatic moments. Sometimes it's just in small, quiet ones, such as chopping onions, setting the table, burning the rice, and laughing anyway. This is the kind of show that makes you want to call your parents or, I don't know, hug your rice cooker and maybe try cooking something that doesn't come with instructions printed on the wrapper. Because in the end, Sweetness and Lightning is about people trying. Failing sometimes, but trying. And when you watch this, you realize maybe healing doesn't look like a grand breakthrough. It doesn't take a grand gesture. Maybe it's just a nice warm bowl of miso soup and someone to share it with. As I was always told growing up, food always tastes better in the company of others.
いただきます。いただきます。
And, know what? I like it. Sweetness and Lightning is truly the best cooking anime that so many people forgot about. Hell, even Crunchyroll forgot about it. You can't find it there anymore. Not because it wasn't good enough, but because it wasn't loud enough. It didn't scream for your attention. It just quietly sat there, waiting for you to notice how warm it made you feel. It's about connection, about how food becomes the language we speak when words fail, about how the act of cooking, flawed, frustrating, but beautifully messy, is an expression of love that transcends burnt gyoza and overcooked gohan. The show doesn't just remind you that cooking can be fun, it reminded me that cooking can matter. Cooking can heal us. It can bring people together, even if the end result looks like something you scraped off the bottom of a pan. And if that's not powerful storytelling, I don't know what is. So next time you're attempting to microwave your burrito for the third night in a row, or I don't know, eating that fourth cup of ramen this week, think about Kohei and Sumuki, about the tiny kitchen filled with big feeling, about showing up for people you care about even when you're tired, overwhelmed, and completely winging it. Because sometimes that's all we can do, and sometimes that's enough. With that, our lesson will come to a close for this week. Let me know down in the hate lab, what did you think of this anime? What was your favorite recipe from this anime? And also, let me know, when was the last time you tried to cook something for someone else? Were you a culinary hero? Or were you like my Tomodachi who once served me purple kare and swore it was not experimental? Either way, remember this about cooking. It's not about perfection. It's about effort, care, and sharing something real. And I think that's what matters the most in a good meal. Like I mentioned before, Grandma always said, love is the #1 ingredient when cooking. You will always be able to taste. Anyway, all said and done, I'm Professor Plague, class dismissed.